Right, let's see what people have requested me to review. If you can find a copy to lend me, I'll give it a go. Yeah, why not? Got nothing better to do. So, Saints Row for the Xbox 360. Saints Row is an open-world crime sandbox game from 2006 and is known for being the first game of this kind to be released on the Xbox 360. It was received pretty well for being very similar to Grand Theft Auto, but just different enough that it wasn't considered to be a direct rip-off. The main character is simply referred to as Player, a rather cringeworthy wink to the camera, but then what do I care? It takes place in the city of Stillwater, the most violent city in America where three gangs are at war. We have the West Side Rollers, with a Z, the Vice Kings, and Los Carnales. One fine day, the player is minding their own business when they come across a dispute between the West Side Rollers and the Vice Kings. A couple of Los Carnales thugs show up and things escalate into an all-out turf war, during which a Vice Kings member spots the player and tries to kill them because they're a witness. The player is saved by Julius, the leader of a new gang called the 3rd Street Saints, because they live in the Saints Row district and they hang out in a church. That's it. The player joins the Saints because they presumably had nothing better to do, and helps the gang assert its power in the city whilst bringing down the corrupt members of the other gangs. Each rival gang has a Saints operative assigned to it. Dex is in charge of keeping an eye on Los Carnales, Lynn has infiltrated the Rollers posing as a gang member, and leading the effort against the Vice Kings we have Johnny Gat, a bloodthirsty thug with no fear and no shame. Gat provides a lot of the comedy in this game, which sets it apart from GTA. But if he isn't your cup of tea, then you might find some humour in the names of the commercial businesses.
Welcome to Freckle Bitches, can I help you?
The funny radio commercials, which admittedly was an idea stolen from GTA. Or failing that, you can make your own amusement, which apparently becomes more of a focus as you play the later games. So now for the gameplay. Aside from the story missions, you'll occasionally get a call from one of your homies informing you that one of your neighbourhoods is under attack and you have the option to go and defend it. Seriously, do it. It earns you money and respect. Just don't do it in the middle of a story mission. I stupidly drove past a neighbourhood under attack on my way to a mission that took place at a brothel, and being my usual clever self, I decided not to bother using the map, which is great by the way, and just start defending. It took me 5 or 6 deaths before I realised that enemies seemed to spawn infinitely with no lieutenants, because I was in the wrong hood, and defending the hood I was in wasn't an option until I completed the story mission. One thing I did learn from this experience, though, was it's really useful to get a car. Apparently all the cars in Stillwater are bulletproof on account of all the gang wars and everything, so you take practically no damage from gunfire whilst in a car. You can still die, particularly if the car gets blown up, but running over enemies is just as effective as shooting them. Hell, some of the physics in this game are actually quite nice to look at. Can you believe it was made on the same game engine that was used to make Sonic 06? In the same year as well? My apologies, Havoc. I thoroughly misjudged your capabilities. You can equip yourself with weapons at friendly fire, where you can buy a couple of basic pistols, rifles, shotguns, grenades, melee weapons, and an RPG, which I had a lot of fun with. Best $3,000 I ever spent. You can't buy ammo, so you either have to loot it from enemies or buy the gun multiple times just to get the ammo. I never understood this. Why can't I just buy more rockets for my RPG rather than paying $3,000 whenever I run out?
'Cause I f***ing said so.
You also have a limited number of slots and can only carry one type of each gun at the same time, which means dual wielding is off the table. Completing this game requires a certain amount of dicking around because you can't play story missions until you've earned enough respect. How do you do that? Well, by being the Saints' personal errand boy, apparently. Once you've filled up your respect bar, you can play the story missions, but if you fail at any point during the mission, you get booted back to the start where you have to watch the cutscene all over again. None of the cutscenes are skippable, meaning that, for example, every time I failed the Aisha's favour mission, I was subjected to this.
You don't look like much. Then again, I don't look like I have an 8-inch cock, so I guess we're both full of surprises.
Every time I had to replay the mission. Some missions have multiple parts, and starting again is frustrating beyond belief. Take the Green with Envy mission, where you have to pick up the Vice King's prostitution manager Tanya and drive her around. She's an impatient little fucktard and wants you to drive her around town to get to her favourite stores, and holy shit, you have to go hell for leather because her getting new shoes is a fashion emergency. If you're not fast, you'll fail the mission, but then she has the cheek to scream at you for driving like a maniac. Jesus Christ, bitch! And then, as if you didn't have enough to worry about, the Saints show up due to some breakdown in communication and start attacking your limo. You can't hurt them, but jeez, these f***ers make it difficult for you to do your job. You have to lose them, but if you crash the car, you get discovered and then it's all over. And those f***ers went and killed me anyway. I'm on your side, you arse-hats! What are you, blind? The people in this town also seem to be completely unafraid of any danger. I can wave my gun around in the street and no one bats an eyelid. Not even police officers. The police are an absolute joke. You can drive recklessly, wreck shit up, but unless you do something that they're programmed to recognise as a crime, you ain't getting caught. And when they do bust you, you just wind up outside the police station with a portion of your money gone. They didn't even confiscate any of my weapons. There's some dangerous shit lying around in my extra baggy jeans, but apparently they're not going to take them off me because I might be an asset if the British invade. Absolute morons. I like their choice of music and found myself picking from almost every genre, though I was a bit disappointed that their definition of metal was quite narrow. The radio stations in each car are randomised, and you can't change the station as far as I could tell. You also don't get a visual telling you what each song is. I think the game could have benefited from that. It would have made it a lot easier to find when I went to scratch that to buy the CD. As you saw earlier, there's a fast food chain called Freckle Bitches, whose job it is to provide you with drive-thru food to replenish your health, and Jesus Christ, $50 for chicken! Just look at these prices, whoever owns this must be rolling in it. Well, it's like they say on the commercial, you can't beat our meat. Do you know what the number one flaw of this game is? The one thing that it could have really benefited from but doesn't have? An option to flick to first-person perspective when shooting, or at the very least, a steady aim. I'm perfectly fine with third-person shooting, but I like to have a steady aim. Seriously, just one of those two things would have made this game a hell of a lot better. Motivation-wise, I can't fault it. The story is pretty interesting, and I like the way it balances comedy with gritty violence like a Tarantino film. As a score, I give it a 73 for enjoyment, and while I may not find the time to play it again anytime soon due to its length, I will get round to playing the sequels. On that note, special thanks to my mate Robin for not only recommending me the series, but buying me games 1 to 4. I remember my friends telling me about their exploits on this game and being bored out of my mind. I realise now that it's not because this game is bad, but because it has to be played to enjoyed. It's like Minecraft. You make your own amusement, and that's why I won't bore you with any stories of the crazy shit I got up to on this game. I'll just end with a short montage. Now, let's see if they've got it. Come on. Ah! Bingo! Well, I guess that just about does it for this review. Thanks again, Robin, for recommending me this game to review. I really enjoyed playing it. To all the rest of you, if you've got a game you want me to review, do please leave me a comment. And I look forward to hearing from you. See you in the next video.